So I try to keep things simple with my life in particular and the philosophies I live by. So I really don't have a whole bunch of 10 rules for life like Jordan Peterson does, goes into depth on every little detail. I find that just a bit too much. So the first principle, don't be a jerk. Don't be a bully. Don't tell people what to do. Don't act as if you're better than everyone. Be humble, basically. I mean, there's a billion different ways to put it, but I do root cause analysis really well. I rather enjoy it. I can find a problem and I can try to find several ways to fix the solution or create a solution, I should say, or deploy the solution. If there's a problem, I can figure it out, basically, in IT sense, because, well, that's been my job forever. Well, I apply that to myself. What's the core of problems come up with, in daily life? Well, the first one I found to be the biggest issue when you learn as a kid, I guess, because it started as a kid with me being bullied every day, was to don't impose your will on other people. Don't tell people what to do and how to act. And just focus on yourself. You got enough problems. You don't need to tell somebody else how to live unless you want them to be as miserable as you. And in that case, then yeah, you should knock yourself out. You be a dick. And I'm pretty sure that'll go well for you. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, totally gonna end up in a good life, I think. You can't be a dick and be worth billions, as what's happening with us now. But yeah, that's besides the point. And then principle two, which was to don't lie, comes from how many times have you get caught in a lie and everything turns up tits? I mean, things turn to shit when you lie, do they not? Especially when you're caught. So if you lie, you're just digging yourself a bigger hole, essentially. It makes things worse. Well, here's principle three. And this is the third one that's kept me out of cults. Kept me out of Mormonism. It actually drove me out of Buddhism, too. However, I find that Buddhism has the most life lessons. There's some really good stuff there. Especially the Eightfold Path in particular is a good way to try and manage your life. So if you're interested, there's a book called Everything Buddhism, and if you read into the Eightfold Path, it's fairly comparable. I find it fairly interesting. However, no one can ever remove desire, so Buddhism has its own logical knot that the desire to live is a very powerful one, and that's one I just don't want to get rid of. If I were to get rid of it and remove all other desires, suicide's the answer at that point. I don't need to live. I'm good. I have no desire. It made no damn sense, so that's why I ditched it. Anyways, back to the subject of hand. Principle 3. Rather simple. Question everything. Now, I find this one fairly important for a number of reasons. There's a lot going on right now. To give you an example, I talk about all sorts of stuff on this channel, from depression to all sorts of things, right? Well, the thing that helps me filter through the bullshit is I question everything. I apply it to everyone and everything, every sentence that comes out of somebody's mouth. I will question it. It gets annoying. Don't get me wrong. A lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, really hate the fact that I question everything. It's probably the most annoying thing in the world. But it's also the thing that kept my son out of the Mormon cult. And me as well, actually. I was a little kid when I started doing this. Which is probably why I got picked on, to be honest, but it's okay. You'd ask questions to a religious person about their faith, right? So you're asking about I don't know, Jesus. That's the easiest thing to pick on. So you start asking about his miracles. You ask all sorts of questions. And eventually you'll get the answer, well, you just have to have faith. Well, faith is, well, useless. You just have to believe for the sake of believing. You have to ignore the possibility you don't know the answer. So your answer is just have faith. So you don't know, though. You don't know the answer. How is that good? I want to know. I don't want to just believe. What good is that? That stops thought. You don't have to think anymore if you just believe and have faith. I want to know. There was I think it's a Socrates quote. I think, or Plato, one of the two. The only thing you know is that you know nothing. And in order to know anything at all, one must question the very fabric of reality or something like that. I don't remember exactly how it goes. But it's a thought like that that drives me to question everything. So when all this SJW stuff came up, and all this other things, news narrative, all that shit, when they started pumping this crap, I questioned it. Lo and behold, he said this. Well, yeah, he did. Did he really say that, though? I'm going to go look. I think he has a recording of the full context. I'm going to go. Did he really say it that way? And all this thing or all this fluff around some very fine people, for example. That's a good example. Did he really say that? Yeah. We all said we all heard him say it. He said it. Really? That doesn't seem like being accurate. Do you have the video? Oh, no, just trust me. He said it. Oh, you want me to have faith in your words? That you're telling me the truth? No, I think I'll go watch. And that's how it works. You start with anything. Question it. It might get annoying, but really that's the only way to find truth. See, the one thing I think is important about this that you need to understand is the first one is so you don't be a dick to yourself and others. The second one is to protect you and everyone else from falsehoods. Don't lie. What's the point in lying? It only digs deeper. I mean, there's a time and a place for lying, actually. And it's only when it comes to life and death situations. So, for example, if somebody's asking you where your kids are hiding and they're actually looking there to murder them all, you lie and say they're over at grandma's or something. So they can go hunt them over there. That's an extreme situation. Probably will never happen to anyone, to be honest. But shit happens, right? Well, this one is so that you can discover truth. That's pretty much what it is. You can't know truth, and nobody is the arbiter of truth. That's why when I see this Facebook fact check shit, I repost all of them. Because Facebook is not the moral arbiter of truth, nor will they ever be. Truth isn't something you get told. Truth isn't something that somebody else has a commodity over. It's not something that can be owned. You don't have truth given to you. Truth has to be discovered. And with that discovery comes the and with that discovery comes actual truth. But you got to check your biases on top of it. That's the tricky part about question everything. You may believe that you're right. Question that. You think you're right? You think you know what's going on? You think that you understand the situation? Are you sure? Have you questioned it? Have you dug in to see if there's any other narratives that go against what you think is true? Have you bothered looking? There's a part in Question Everything that has a lot of tools and utilities that I could get into. Sophistry, as an example. If fallacies are used to explain a situation in any way, shape, or form, chances are it's not a true story. The narrative fallacy is one that I find particularly egregious that Black Lives Matter uses all the time, where they tell half the story, just enough of it to be true, that their own truth comes and emerges. For example, George Floyd was murdered by cops. No, he wasn't. He died of a fentanyl overdose. However, they told enough truth for everybody to get angry. He was indeed abused by the cops. For sure. That cop was a giant douchebag, should no longer be on the force. He had 9 reports against him, I think, or something like that. He had a lot of bad rap. And the unions saved his ass a job, basically. He got to stay on the force because he was unionized. They couldn't fire him. Well, they found a way to fire him because he's a massive asshole. Works out in everyone's favor, I think, personally. So, the next question is, what is true in that situation and story? We only see the video. Well, if you actually went and looked for the elongated video, the full context of the entire situation, he fought with the cops. He resisted arrest. He kept on saying he couldn't breathe because he was having a freaking heart attack. And I believe, if you notice what he was doing in his truck before he got removed from his truck and then handcuffed, he wasn't really resisting arrest there either until he was trying to get put in the back of the truck, the cop car. In his truck, he was fiddling with shit over here on the passenger seat. What was there? What I'm thinking is he had a bunch of fentanyl and other illegal shit, and he just downed it all right then and there. And that was game over for him. Complete mental drug overdose. He was tweaking out of his mind. You could tell just by looking at his eyeballs. Anybody who's had experience with drugs or know people around him, you could see it. But there you go. That illustrates my point. I can't trust Black Lives Matter. They paint a narrative. They tell half-truths. I want the whole truth. So I questioned their narrative, and what did I find? Oh, there's a lot more to every single one of those people they celebrate than meets the eye. So much so that I would not celebrate a single one of those people that died. See, George Floyd was pretty... Like, that cop should never have been a cop, basically. And he probably wouldn't have died had he not, tried to shoplift and give fake money and down a bunch of fentanyl. He probably would have been okay, but he wasn't. Too many bad things have happened in his life. Not only that, he broke the other principles. He tried to bully his way out of being put in the cop car. He lied a lot. The only thing he didn't lie about is he couldn't breathe. And unfortunately, that killed him. If you lie long enough, eventually nobody believes you. And cops get jaded because everyone lies to them. I mean, literally everyone lies to them. You only have to watch an episode of Cops to realize that they get lied to a lot. And Cops only shows the mild stuff. There's a lot worse than that. Do you have anything on you? No, sir. And they pull out a gun and shoot at the cop. Oh, you lied. You didn't have anything on him. Okay. Yeah, that's why I'm dead now. Good job. At any rate, this one takes a little bit more explaining. Because question everything seems simple enough, but I'm not talking about questioning things you already think you know. I'm just talking about questioning things that you think you know to make sure that you're still right. I do it all the time. It's probably annoying to a lot of people, to be honest. Very annoying. But it's probably the most valuable lesson that I can give anyone. It's one of the lessons I gave my children. Question everything. Literally everything. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm actually putting a nice little thing on it this time around because I did sneeze earlier and still kind of congested. So I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.
I've completed my work. Time for me to go.